Greetings and welcome to this next installment of DEI in About Five, brought to you by Sweet Ransom Diversity Consulting, and I am Robin Sweet Ransom. All right, I am so glad that you came back for us to talk further on systemic racism in America and the groundwater problem that we have. Last time we talked about the healthcare's water supply is contaminated. We observed that a particular race or races have been adversely impacted, and wealth, fame, and education don't seem to make a difference. We heard the story about Serena Williams and how hard she had to advocate to get the care that she needed. And what about people who aren't able to advocate for themselves? What happens to them? And then I share with you my own personal testimony of how I also suffered from the same malady as Serena. I developed blood clots. The difference between she and I is that I didn't have any history of it. In fact, it took a while for them to try to figure out where the blood clots came from. So they did tests the next day, an ultrasound on my legs, and then they discerned that the blood clots had come from my left leg. But I had no symptoms, no swelling, couldn't figure that out. And so it was then that it was discerned that some blood clots must have traveled to my lungs. And thank goodness I got the care that I needed and that the doctors and other medical professionals truly listened to what I was telling them and they acted promptly. So, ending systemic racism in the healthcare system requires a groundwater approach. What does that even look like? Well, I know some organizations are really working hard to combat the problems. Kaiser is one of them who are really trying to approach things from a holistic viewpoint and trying to meet out any bias that can exist. And so it can be attacked from multiple angles. It is encouraged that healthcare systems providers expand unbiased healthcare access to each and every person, and that the medical education and training system be reformed so that it stops teaching racist beliefs and medical practices that then feed the next generation of medical professionals, because there's still some studies that are very biased that really don't take in account the unique needs of people of color, specifically Black people and Indigenous people, right? And there are some other systems outside of the medical system. Remember, I said these problems are not just in one area, it's across the board. And so, to help students, one urban school district partnered with law enforcement, civil rights leaders, and economic developers to try to attack the problem that they were seeing perplexing their students. In another city, to affect systemic change, churches, academic institutions, community organizations, and local government connected to work together. And another, epidemiologists are partnering with economic developers to dismantle racist systems that lead to disease. In fact, when you think about it, a lot of plants that release pollutants into the atmosphere are in lower income neighborhoods. And one study showed that Black children were getting asthma at alarming rates, and it could be tied to a factory that was in their town. And so epidemiologists are working with developers so they can attack this problem in a holistic manner. Who can your organization partner with? Let's say that you see some areas that need some change. What can you do collaboratively to be the change that you want to see? I don't have all of the answers. None of us do. But working together, we can brainstorm to come up with a solution that if we can't end systemic racism altogether, and really, we won't be able to. It's going to take Jesus Christ to do that. We can make a start to do something, as I just shared with you, other organizations have done. So, thank you for being here with me on this discussion of systemic racism. I felt it was important to break it up in bite-sized chunks. My dear sister encouraged me to do that once she saw the full presentation. She said, "Oh no, you're gonna have to break that up. It's a bit much for a person to take in one sitting, too much water at one time, so to speak." So join me next time on on DEI in about 5. And remember that diversity plus you equals solutions. See you next time.